Every word you've ever spoken, every conversation you've ever had, every argument, every joke, every song, every language on earth, English, Chinese, Arabic, Spanish, Hindi, all of them trace back to a mystery so old that no recording exists, no books, no writing, no evidence anyone can directly read. Yet somehow, tens of thousands of years ago, one human became the first person in history to say something. Not grunt, not scream, not point, but speak. A real word. And here's the strange part. Nobody knows what that word was. Nobody even knows what language it belonged to, because the first language ever spoken may have completely vanished without leaving a single trace. So if that's true, how do scientists even know language existed? What did the first language sound like? And could fragments of that ancient tongue still be hiding inside the words we use today? Let's find out. Imagine waking up tomorrow and every book disappeared. Every website vanished. Every recording was erased. No dictionaries. No subtitles. No written history. Thousands of years later, future humans would know we existed. They would find our buildings, our tools, our roads, but our languages, gone. Completely gone. That's exactly the problem scientists face when studying the first language. Because language is much older than writing. Writing appeared only about 5,000 years ago, but humans have likely been speaking for tens of thousands of years before that. Maybe 50,000 years, maybe 100,000 years, possibly even longer. That's a gigantic missing chapter in human history. Imagine trying to reconstruct a movie after losing 99% of the footage. That's what researchers are attempting. The first language wasn't recorded, it wasn't preserved, it disappeared, and yet, language changed everything. Without language, there are no stories, no cooperation, no teaching, no civilization. Language may be the single most important invention humans never consciously invented, but where did it begin? To answer that, we need to travel back further than any written history, back before cities, before farming, before kings, before civilization itself. For millions of years, our ancestors survived without language as we know it. They could communicate. Animals communicate too. Chimpanzees use calls. Birds sing. Wolves signal each other. Even bees communicate through movement. Communication isn't unique. Language is, because language allows something extraordinary, infinite ideas from limited sounds. Think about it. You can understand a sentence you've never heard before. I can say, a purple elephant is riding a bicycle on the moon. You've probably never heard that exact sentence, yet your brain instantly creates an image. That's language. Animals don't appear to do that. Human language lets us create imaginary worlds, share plans, discuss the future, remember the past, pass knowledge across generations. At some point, our ancestors crossed a line. They stopped merely communicating and started speaking. The question is, when? Scientists aren't entirely sure. Some believe language began around 50,000 years ago. Others think it may be over 100,000 years old. Some even argue it could be older. What everyone agrees on is that once language appeared, human history accelerated. Knowledge could survive longer than a single lifetime. One generation could teach the next. Ideas could accumulate, and suddenly, humans became something different. Now comes the question everyone asks. What was the first word? The honest answer, nobody knows, and we probably never will. But that hasn't stopped scientists from wondering. Maybe it was a warning, danger. Maybe it was social. Maybe it identified food, or water, or fire. Some researchers think the earliest words were connected to survival. Others believe language began with social bonding, helping groups stay connected. Some theories suggest music came first. Others suggest gestures came first. One possibility is especially fascinating. The first words may have sounded nothing like modern words. No grammar, no complete sentences, just simple sounds carrying specific meanings. Over thousands of generations, those sounds became more complex, more organized, more powerful, until eventually they evolved into full languages. The first speaker in history probably had no idea they were changing the future. To them, it may have felt like a normal sound, a normal day, a normal conversation. Yet that single moment may have helped create everything that came later. Every language, every book, every civilization, every idea, all connected to that unknown beginning. Now things get even stranger. Some scientists wonder if every language on Earth traces back to one ancient ancestor, a language sometimes called proto-human, not because we know it existed, but because it's possible. Think of language like a family tree. English and German share ancestors. Spanish and Italian share ancestors. Many languages can be traced backward. The further researchers go, the more connections they discover. But eventually, the evidence fades. The trail disappears into prehistory. Some researchers think all human languages may descend from a single ancient language spoken long ago. Others disagree. They believe language may have emerged multiple times in different groups. The problem is simple. The deeper we go into the past, the fewer clues survive. It's like trying to find the first wave in an ocean. By the time you arrive, countless other waves have erased the evidence. Still, the idea is fascinating. Imagine every language on Earth being distant cousins. Every conversation, every speech, every whispered secret, all connected by a common ancestor spoken tens of thousands of years ago. If true, that means every human alive today shares a linguistic family connection, no matter where they live, no matter what language they speak. How do scientists investigate a language nobody recorded? By becoming detectives. They compare languages, search for patterns, study grammar, track sound changes, and reconstruct ancient words. For example, English has the word mother, German has mutter. Many related languages have similar words. By comparing them, researchers can estimate what older forms may have sounded like. This method has allowed scientists to reconstruct ancient languages that were never written down. It's one of the most impressive detective stories in science. But even these reconstructions eventually hit a wall, a point where the evidence becomes too old, too fragmented, too uncertain. Beyond that point, the first language remains hidden, like a lost city buried beneath thousands of generations. Yet every discovery brings us closer. Every language studied, every pattern found, every connection uncovered, adds another piece to humanity's greatest puzzle. Probably not, at least not completely. The first language may be lost forever. No recordings exist, no writing survives, no direct evidence remains, but that doesn't mean the search is pointless, because every clue teaches us something about ourselves. Language isn't just words, it's cooperation, culture, memory, imagination. Language allowed humans to share ideas across time. A person can die, yet their thoughts survive. You're hearing ideas right now from people who lived centuries ago. That's language, a technology more powerful than any machine. And unlike tools, language exists inside our minds, invisible, yet capable of reshaping the world. The first language may be lost, but its impact is everywhere. In every conversation, every classroom, every friendship, every story, including this one. Here's a thought that sounds almost impossible. What if the first language wasn't spoken at all? Some researchers think language may have begun through gestures, hand signals, facial expressions, body movements, only later becoming spoken language. If that's true, the first word may never have been a sound. It may have been a gesture, a movement, a signal understood by another human. Imagine that. Language isn't really about speaking. It's about transferring ideas from one mind to another. The moment that happened, human history changed forever. Right now, somewhere on Earth, more than 7,000 languages are being spoken. Thousands of accents, thousands of vocabularies, thousands of ways to describe reality. Yet all of them may trace back to a mystery buried deep in prehistory. A forgotten voice, a lost word, a conversation nobody recorded. The first language ever spoken remains one of humanity's greatest unsolved mysteries. And perhaps that's what makes it so fascinating. Because every time you speak, you're participating in a tradition older than cities, older than writing, older than civilization itself. A tradition that began with someone, somewhere, saying something for the very first time, and nobody knows exactly what it was. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, subscribe for more strange questions about ancient humans, prehistory, evolution, language, and the hidden stories behind everyday life. Because sometimes, the biggest mysteries aren't buried underground. They're hiding inside the words we use every day.